Hello, everybody, and welcome to your favorite podcast back after a week off. We're talking about our Rasslin and Racin, brought to you by Greenville Sports Media, Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina, Beef and Rib in Westminster, South Carolina, and Dorsey Auto Sales in Anderson, South Carolina. Folks, I tell you what, we've had a lot of things happening. Royal Rumble is this Saturday, and of course, you can't talk pro wrestling without the man with the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in. Ref Brandon, how's it going, Brandon?
Fantastic, Jay. How you doing?
I tell you what, if I was any better, I'd be you.
Boy, you're doing good, damn.
All right, well, folks, it's that time of the year. It's NASCAR time. That's right. We're back into talking some professional racing. We're talking about NASCAR, brought to you by, of course, Mr. Ref Brandon. Ref, tell us a little bit about what's going on. We understand there's a move of the race that's supposed to be this Sunday due to cold weather, just some other different things going on. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, they talking about having to move the Clash. They haven't made it official yet, but it's at Bowman Gray Stadium, which is in North Carolina, and they're supposed to have some weather again this weekend like they had this past weekend, where it's going to be like 10, 15, 20 degrees below zero, and you can't race in that. So I don't know if they'll cancel it altogether or try to do it earlier in the day when it's a little bit hotter, or do it midweek. I read a report earlier that they might do it in the middle of next week, like Tuesday or Wednesday, or move it to the following Saturday, because it would still be 1 week before Daytona. And you can't make it next Sunday because that's the big game. So It's going to be next weekend. It'll have to be Saturday instead of Sunday. But I feel like within 5 years, the Clash will probably be gone altogether. It's a preseason race, so there's less and less people that care about it, because in reality, the race means nothing. It's not for qualifying. It's not for points. It's nothing, really. And it was at Daytona for so long and did so good for many years, and all of a sudden the attendance just fell off. So they moved it to Los Angeles, and they had a 3-year contract there. It did pretty good the first year, and then it kind of fell off in year 2. And now they're doing Bowman Gray Stadium, which the racing last year was phenomenal, and the attendance was phenomenal. It was a sellout. But it's North Carolina. You never know what the weather's going to be like in early February anywhere except South Florida. So unless you're going to go back to Daytona with it and bring back speed weeks, I don't know if you go back there. But there's just too many places where the weather in February is just unpredictable. Because outside of Florida, in most places, it's going to be hot in February. I mean, cold in February. So I don't know what they'll do, but they'll probably make an official announcement probably tomorrow on what they're going to do as far as, having it Sunday afternoon or having it in the middle of next week. But so far it's still on, but I don't think it's going to be on at 8 o'clock Sunday night. But we'll find out.
All right, and what's this news about Dodge?
Yeah, we got Dodge Ram coming back. They're going to be in the trucks this year. I feel like they'll probably be in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and in the Cup Series next year. But they're in the trucks this year. Colleague Racing, which is probably the top team now in the truck series, is going to be the leading truck team this year as far as Dodge. They're going to have one driver, and I'm sure we'll know by the time next weekend gets here who wins the show. But there's a show that debuted Sunday. It's called Race for the Ram, and it's 15 drivers from all around the world who are trying to be the one driver that wins this show and gets the race the full season with Colleague Racing in the Dodge Ram. And they're racing on dirt tracks, they're racing bandoleros, they're racing go-karts, they're racing asphalt. That way each driver will get their strength and the weakness, because the drivers they've chosen, some are dirt track racers, some are legend car racers, some are asphalt racers, some are go-kart racers. So each driver has his strength and weakness, so they're racing all kinds of racing to see who's good on what. And the winner of the show will end up being the full-time driver this year for Dodge. And there's some pretty good people that race on that show. I watched episode 1 today. It was real good. I got a feeling it's going to be a good show. The only problem I hate is the fact the show just debuted on Sunday. and they're just showing one episode per week. So the season's going to start before the show is done, unless they all of a sudden one day just carry 10 at one time. So we're going to know who wins the show by next weekend. I wish they would have aired this show back in about November, so you wouldn't know until the show was over who wins. But it's a good show if you like racing, because all they do is show each driver racing on each racetrack. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. They do qualifying, heat races, and actual main event races, but nobody's in the stands, just the 15 drivers and the college racing team watching them.
Well, Rep Brandon, we come to that time of the year where we got to pick our two guys to win this year's championship. And I know I'm kind of putting you on the leash, so I'm gonna give you a minute to think about it, and I'm gonna give you my two. One of them, Ref, you already know I'm gonna say. Give me Ross Chastain to win the championship. That's right, Ross Chastain. I think this year is his year. I think he resembles my buddy Kurt Busch, who is going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. And I just think Ross Chastain, this will be his year. I think the crew he's got is really good. I think he was coming on at the right time last year. Problem was he had some wrecks early in the year that knocked him out of it. So give me Ross Chastain to win the championship, and my dark horse, just like last year, give me Eric Jones from Legacy.
All right, well, I was right last year in picking Kyle Larson, so I'll see if I can get two in a row this year. I'm going to go with your favorite driver, Joey Logano.
Yeah, right.
Only because he's won 3 championships, and he's won all 3 in even-numbered years. I don't know how that happens, but he's always better than even-numbered years. So since it's 2026, give me Logano and give me Denny Hamlin. I think between the fact he lost it last year because of a bad pit call and his daddy dying a couple weeks back, I think Denny's going to be on a vengeance tour this year. So give me Logano and Denny Hamlin.
Yep, and I think NASCAR is going to be lenient to him since Denny and Michael Jordan won that case against him earlier in the last year. All right.
He's got a 2-year deal with Joe Gibbs Racing, and he'll be 47 by the time next year ends. I don't know if he'll get another contract being that old. So if he's going to win a championship, he's basically got, I think, this year, next year, and that's it.
All right. Well, now, folks, let's turn it over to pro wrestling. But before we do that, Ref Brandon, where can they find you, and where was you the last couple weeks?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Ref Brandon and the Todd family. Spell out the word and it is 6 words, not one long word. And you'll see me and my beautiful wife as the profile pic on YouTube. And I post just about every single day. And this past weekend, I was supposed to be in Cornelia, Georgia for Total Aggression Wrestling. But because it snowed over the weekend and had such bad weather, the show got canceled. So I actually had no show this past weekend, but I was supposed to. But the weather had a different thing in mind, so I had no show this past weekend.
Now, the weekend before that, wasn't you and the boss out?
Yeah, we had I had Scrappy Championship Wrestling the prior Sunday, and then the Saturday before that I had SWA.
All right, well, there you go, folks. Ref Brandon, the Royal Rumble is this weekend, and last night on Raw, we saw a lot of different things. We heard that the Rumble is already full, and Finn Balor was not going to be able to be a part of it, which I thought he was already going to be, but now we understand why they did it the way they did it. Finn Balor looks like we'll be facing CM Punk at the Royal Rumble for the world title. What's your thoughts?
I think it'll be a fantastic match because Finn Balor's in it, but I don't see Finn Balor winning the belt. So to me, this is just a match to make sure the Rumble goes long enough. But I think the outcome is pretty predetermined. I'd be shocked if Finn Balor wins, but I think it'll be a good match.
All right. Well, there you go. You know what? I'm just, me. I like to go against the grain. Give me Finn Balor to win the match. Maybe not win the title, but I think he wins the match somehow. Probably just not wins the belt, if you know what I mean. I think these two guys complement each other very well. The match they had on Raw the previous week was really great. So I think the fans loved it. And it wasn't just because they was in Ireland. I think fans in pro wrestling on YouTube and on different sites were saying that was one of the best matches that they've seen in the last 6 months. So I think Finn Balor wins the match, just doesn't win the title.
Well, we got 5 matches altogether.
Yep. And now we go to AJ Styles versus Gunther. And the only thing on the line is Styles' career. Will it end at the Royal Rumble, ref?
I think it will. That's the only thing I hate about this match is I think when they announced if AJ loses, he retires, they pretty much gave away the finish because Gunther retired John Cena last year. So I think Gunther's going to be their new guy that retires people. And AJ came out last year and said he was retiring in 2026. And now they said if he loses, he's done. So I think Gunther wins the match.
And I think opposite. I think that AJ wins in a different fashion where it doesn't hurt Gunther. Well, let's face it. Gunther could lose and still be over. But I think in a way, I think Gunther will get caught cheating or something to the aspect where the ref gives AJ the win, but he doesn't clearly pin Gunther. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So therefore, Gunther still is the man that everybody wants him to be in the company. And at the same time, AJ still has several guys that he's talked about on different shows, Pat McAfee, some of the WWE shows, that guys that he wants to face before he leaves. I think he's going to do a stint in TNA, at least a 1-month stint where he'll take on a couple guys there. I just think there's too much on the table. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it does. But I mean, he's 48 years old. The man can't go forever. And, he's already said this year was his last year. And I think he wants to go out while he's still good instead of, hanging around too long and losing it. And I don't think knowing how calm and cool and humble AJ Styles is, I don't think he'll want to retire at WrestleMania because it's too big of a show. So I think he'll do it at Rumble where it's overseas, so nobody in America sees him. He'll just go home and be done.
Me, I think it happens at SummerSlam. I don't know what it is. Something just tells me he'll make it through WrestleMania because this is going to be the only match where he puts it on the line for that particular match. I think everything else is going to be scripted. But I think he'll say the SummerSlam is going to be his last one. He's going to go out on night 2. I'm sure they'll move it to night 2 unless they make it the main event for night 1 if he's fighting for the world title or something. I think that sometime this year they're going to put something on him. I think they're either be the U.S., the IC, another tag title. I don't know. I just think something somewhere tells me he's going to do a TNA spot, maybe capture the X Division title for a month. You know what I'm saying? I think there's just too much there that they could use, and he's made it clear on several shows that he still feels fine. He still feels good. He's just wanting to retire in 2026, but he never said when. So that's just my thoughts on it, though. All right. What's our next match, ref?
Well, we also have Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, which, of course, Sami Zayn is loved over in Saudi Arabia, so I see why they're doing this match, in Saudi Arabia. And I'm not a Sami Zayn fan, but I'd be shocked if he won this match. I think Drew McIntyre carries the belt into WrestleMania, and I think WrestleMania is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu, which is funny if that happens, because if that's true, then what about Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns, headlines WrestleMania every year. But if they are, which it looks like they're leaning towards Drew, Cody, and Fatu, where's Roman Reigns at? Who's he going to wrestle?
I think Reigns goes after the returning Seth Rollins in a revenge match from the previous year. because we know Reigns is going to be in a main event, or he's going to be in a big match, either night 1 or night 2. But that's just my thoughts. I agree with you. I don't think Sami Zayn is ready for a world title run. I think that would be the wrong move. I mean, of course, they don't ask our opinion, ref, but I agree with you. I think it's a wrong move to give Sami Zayn the world title.
Yeah, I think if Sami Zayn got it, it would just be for the shock value. He'd lose it within a week, which is something Vince McMahon would do. But so far, since Triple H has been in charge, everything he's done has made sense. And I just don't think he would do something for the shock value. But I could see them giving it to Sami just because they're in Saudi Arabia and then him losing it the following week. But since Sami Zayn is so loved in Saudi Arabia, I can see Drew McIntyre beating the crap out of him, and it would make Drew even more hated than he already is.
Yeah, but at the same time, Triple H did last year, if you remember, the women's tag title match, oh my gosh, I just went numb. Blank. It was tag champions lost the titles. Liv Morgan and Rodriguez lost the titles at WrestleMania when Becky Lynch and the other lady from Ireland, I keep forgetting her name to save my life. Is it Valkyria?
Yeah, Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, Valkyria won it, and then the following night on Raw, lost it. So he has done a flip in one night. So, well, actually it was 2 nights because that particular match was on Saturday, and then they won it back on Monday. But I could see them doing that maybe 2 years in a row is a little too much, like what you said, but he has done that where someone won a title at the major pay-per-view and then the next night, because of storyline, they lose it, whether it's because someone interferes or whatever to lead them down that road.
Yeah, and it makes sense because so far on television, Sami Zayn is 0-11 versus Drew McIntyre. So Sami's never beat Drew on TV. So if Sami was to beat Drew, it would shock everybody. But I just don't see it happening. I think they're finally going to give Drew a long title reign, and I think he carries it to at least WrestleMania.
I agree with you. I really do. Like you said, I think Drew, last time he held the title was back in COVID, and there was no live ring. He won it with TVs all around. It wasn't a chance to really go out and give him the love that he should have got. I think the same with Braun Strowman. Of course, he's not with the WWE no more. But I agree with you. I think Drew wins this. And then we got the Royal Rumbles. Now, the Ladies Royal Rumble match, we found out about 15 of the opponents that are in the ring. We don't know about the other 15. I'm sure they'll be from NXT, and they'll have some surprise ones. Seems like every year we get the same retreads from the year before. Tori Wilson. I love Molly Holly, but it's time. Some of those that will come back, and Trish Stratus. They'll come in, do their little spot. Maybe a couple TNA stars would be good to throw in there. But when it comes to the Rumble, we're just going to pick who we would like to see win the Rumble. And give me your thoughts, Ref. Who you got winning the women's and the men's?
Well, that one good thing about this year's Rumble is, and Triple H said last year that they were going to try their best to figure out who was letting out the spoilers and cut that out, because the last 4 or 5 years leading up to Royal Rumble, you start hearing all these rumors about so and so's going to be in it, and all the rumors end up being true. But this year the Rumble is 3 days away, and I haven't heard a peep about a surprise entrant for the women or the men. So they've done a good job of keeping it hush hush, but it won't happen. But I would love to see the former powerhouse Hobbs, who is now going to be Royce Keys, show up and win the Rumble. I think it'd be amazing, but he won't win it. But it would be something to see, because he's going to be in NXT if he showed up and he all of a sudden wins the Rumble and headlines WrestleMania when he first signs with them. But I think it would be awesome. And for the women, I would love to see not necessarily somebody I'm a fan of, but somebody you don't expect, like Raquel Rodriguez, nobody thinks she's going to win the Rumble. So I think if she was to win it, it would be different because with the men and the women every year, you always think, well, it's going to be, 3 or 4 people. So for somebody like Raquel Rodriguez, who nobody thinks is going to win it, I would love to see it because it would throw a loop in all these fans who know it all's plans. But I don't think Powerhouse wins, and I don't think Raquel wins, but I'd love to see it.
All right. Well, here's who I got for the women. Now, you know I love Charlotte Flair, but I'm sorry, not this year. I don't want Charlotte Flair to win it this year. You know I love Alexa Bliss, but no, not this year. I'm kind of going by what I think would be a great WrestleMania match. If Stephanie Vercourt is still the champion come WrestleMania, which I think she will be because they are putting a lot of stock in her, I'm sorry. I put Liv Morgan in that match with her because I think Liv Morgan and Stephanie would give us a great match. That's who I think. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it would be a good match, but with the women, I'd love to see Raquel win it, but I think Bianca Belair is going to win it. Now, that's what I think will happen. Yeah. Because she hasn't done a whole lot. Ladies, she's been off TV, seems like forever. So I'd love to see her come back and win it. But that'd be what I think is going to happen. But I'd love to see Raquel Rodriguez or somebody like that who you don't expect to win go out there and win. It's the same way with the men. Everybody thinks it's going to be a Braun Breaker or
Brock Lesnar,
Roman Reigns, or some big time person. So I'd love it to be The Miz. Somebody that you don't think has any shot of winning it, go out there and winning it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd love for R-Truth to win it. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see R-Truth at WrestleMania versus Cody Rhodes or whoever, but we both know that's not going to sell tickets. It'll be a great love story, I guess you could call it, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But I know R-Truth is not going to win it. As far as the men go, I look at guys that they've done stuff with and kind of let it sit for a little bit and simmer. I could see Gunther finally getting that win to kind of keep going with his streak of just, taking care. I think he does, he comes in at number 29 or 30. Oh, man. I could see LA Knight finally getting his flowers. I was watching Unreal, which came out this past week, and they had the thing where last year's Money in the Bank, LA Knight messed up. He was supposed to have done a couple moves that would have made him look a heck of a lot better when Seth Rollins finally won the Money in the Bank. But it was supposed to be to make him look better, but he messed up twice at the end. And that right there, I think he learned from that. And I think Triple H has made it clear he has a lot of faith still in LA Knight. And I think if you're not going to let him win WrestleMania, if you're not going to let him win the Elimination Chamber, let him win the Royal Rumble and put him in a 3-way, kind of like what you said a minute ago, and just give him that chance to be a main event on the WrestleMania. Because if he's your future, even though he's an older guy, an older superstar, he's over, but you're not giving him that respect. I think they got to give him either Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble. One of the two needs to be LA Knight. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what they're going to do with LA Knight is going to end up being what happened to Bray Wyatt. When Bray Wyatt first came in, he had that cool gimmick and everybody loved him. But he couldn't win a match. And they just thought he was so popular that winning didn't matter. And the fans loved him. And by the time Bray actually won the belt, the fans done gave up on him. Well, I think LA Knight's kind of going down the same path. I'm not a big LA Knight fan myself, but, the fans love him. And he's so popular that I think WWE thinks no matter how much he loses, the fans still love him. But eventually, the fans are going to give up on him. They're going to feel like, well, this guy can't win a match. And then I think by the time they push him, it's going to be too late.
Exactly.
And, he's been so popular now for the last 2 years and hasn't won diddly squat. But the fans still love him. But eventually, when they realize he can't win a match, they're just going to say, piss on this guy. And then by that time you push him, it's too late. The fans done checked out on him.
Yep, and I think Randy Orton is at the end of his career. So, LA Knight, Randy Orton is probably the two I would pick. Randy Orton just because he's Randy Orton. He's at the end of his career. He could get one more Royal Rumble and tie Triple H for wins. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be, I just think it's LA Knight. You have to do something with him. You have to give him this. You can't wait till Money in the Bank, right before SummerSlam. You have got to get him a huge win. And what better way than bring him in at number 25 through 27, somewhere in that range, where he doesn't have to go the whole match, or bring him in at number 5 and let him go the whole, a long period of time. Whichever way you got to do it, get him the win, because if not, you're going to waste a half a year on this man. And I don't see him winning an Elimination Chamber. He's not an Elimination Chamber kind of winner. Does that make sense? He just don't bring no hardcore winner to me. So
and the one thing about this year's Rumble is it hasn't been hyped up like it normally is.
Mm-hmm.
And normally by this time you can pretty much tell where WrestleMania is going, and it pretty much helps you figure out who's going to win the Rumble. But this year, outside of what looks like it's going to be Drew, Cody, and Fatu, there isn't really a lot of clear signs as to who's going down what path, which makes the Rumble winner even harder to pick, because you can't tell who's going what direction, which is good, but that's what you want, because you don't want predictability, but at the same time it makes it hard to figure out who's doing what. So when it comes to picking a winner, you really are flying by seat of your pants, because you don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and this is another reason why I say LA Knight, and just follow me on this. Remember at SummerSlam last year in that area range, who was the two guys fighting each other all the time helping Jey Uso? LA Knight and CM Punk. They couldn't get along. They were battling each other every time he turned around. And I think this is why you would put LA Knight over, because if CM Punk is going to come out the champion, going into WrestleMania, wouldn't it be smart to make Punk the mean guy, or make LA Knight the mean guy, and have the two of them in a match? Because that would sell tickets, because there is already history recently. After watching Unreal, I remember Triple H saying on 2 different occasions, we had already been planting the seeds with Braun Breaker. We had already been planting the seeds with Seth Rollins changing over to Paul Heyman. I think that was the seed that a lot of people might have forgotten about. Punk and LA Knight. LA Knight gets a miracle win, or it would be a miracle because a lot of people don't expect him to win it. But he would get the miracle win. And of course, he would say, Punk, I owe you, because the last time me and you fought, you beat me. I've got to know I can beat you.
I'd be okay with it. I'm not an LA Knight fan, but just because it'd be unpredictable, because I think the man's either going to be Braun Breaker or I had one other person in mind as Drew Blank. Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed.
Yeah. Or what's the other vision? Oh, man. Mr. God, I can't remember his name. Logan Paul.
Now, see, Logan Paul should win. Logan Paul's the man, but I think he's kind of the background guy. The two main guys are, Braun and Bronson.
But so Logan Paul's got a lot more charisma. I could see him as a champion over Bronson Reed.
Oh, yeah. I think Logan Paul right now will be a better champion than Braun, only because in the future, no, but I don't think Braun's ready right now. And I think they're going to push Braun too fast. But so as of right now, I think Logan will be a better champion than Braun Breaker. But in the future, definitely not. But I think they're pushing Braun just because Braun has the look, and Braun's so young, and Braun's the next big guy. But I don't think he's ready yet.
Well, I got a feeling Seth Rollins is in this Royal Rumble and will be the one that helps eliminate Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and then gets eliminated by Logan Paul. towards the end. I just got a feeling Rollins is already ahead of the game. What I am hearing on him, they're not saying when he's returning, but they're saying he is ahead of the game, and they're known for making him look like he's down and out. And I just got a feeling that's going to happen. All right, well, Ref, it's been great talking this week. Next week, we're going to talk a little AEW as we rotate the wrestling shows, talk a little TNA also, maybe even a little NXT, and, of course, bring you a little NASCAR news. We got a lot of drivers this year and some different rules. Ref will bring that to us. But anyway, we're brought to you by Arden's Burger Grill in Central South Carolina, beef and rib in Westminster, South Carolina. Don't forget Upstate Physical Therapy in Anderson, South Carolina. Our main sponsor, Dorsey Auto Sales in Anderson, South Carolina. And folks, we just want to thank you for joining us, and make sure you check out Ref Brandon each and every day on Ref Brandon and the Todd family on YouTube. You will enjoy it. Like he said, he talks football, he talks wrestling, he does top 10 countdown on Wednesdays, and they're not always got to be about sports. He picks movies, he picks anything from food, you name it. If you would like him to do a top 10, leave him a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on Ref Brandon and the Todd family. Folks, I mean, he's a great, wholesome guy. And unfortunately, he does a dad joke every freaking show. You will have to get over the dad jokes. He does a dad joke. He loves doing dad jokes. Matter of fact, I'm sure he's going to do one before I get off of here. So let me go ahead and bring in Ref Brandon with his dad joke of the week.
All right. You'll like this one, Jay. We just got a dog, so that's why this joke is fitting, because we just got a dog. My dog ate a bunch of pronouns, and he, she, it everywhere.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Folks, that was brought to you by Pee-wee pads. Make sure your dog and puppy is covered with Pee-wee pads. You can buy them at Walmart in the pet aisle. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Ref. Make sure you going to be anywhere this week, or this weekend?
No, actually, my family's supposed to be going on a short mini vacation this weekend. We can't go along because the kids are in school. We're just going to go over the weekend. But they're calling for snow again this weekend, so
yep.
It may end up getting canceled too.
All right. Well, there you go. Every time Ref tries to get a vacation in, something else has to happen. The boss is going to stop telling him to ask off and just say, let's go.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate you joining in to Rasslin Racing, your favorite show each and every week here at Greenville Sports Media. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, everybody.